What's up, Scoop Podcast? I'm your host, Erica Kruppen, and on today's Wednesday episode, if you're watching this over on the YouTube, you can tell that I'm coming from, I don't know, it looks like a construction site. Well, it kind of is. I am actually back in the bedroom. Okay, but this area is going to be painted. It's going to be built out like an actual podcast studio. I would have to say, for me, I have a fairly large bedroom. And so my husband and I just decided that we're going to split the bedroom in half. We're going to bring the podcast studio back home because I'm making a lot of changes in 2025, smarter financial decisions. And so stay tuned if you want to kind of hear about that. Okay, so before I get into it, I kind of want to let you know, I kind of want this to be an update on how Spring Rush went last week. Spring Rush, it went fine. It's starting to slow down. We're starting to get slower. We did stay very busy this past week. It's actually been very cold, so it's slowed down. Nothing new, honestly, nothing really exciting. Getting lots of really good reviews because the service is awesome. My guys, I have a new guy. I'm so excited. He's been training with Charles, and they've been just providing excellent service. And Josh has been going out. I have been going out, and we've just been doing a really, really good job on these cleans. And because of Review Harvest, when I close out the job in my CRM, Review Harvest automatically asks them for a review. So we're doing really, really, really well with the reviews, and we're getting well-worded 5-star reviews, which is really nice because you guys know about Steve. He left me that 1-star review. I still haven't gotten in touch with Steve yet, so what's up, Steve? But anyways, Spring Rush is fine. We're coming to the end. I put a lot of money in advertisement, and a lot of money came in and a lot of money went out. We could talk about that at another time, but I do want to talk about money going out. But before I hop into this, anybody that's new here, I want you guys to know that, yes, I've been in business, I think 6, maybe going on 7 years. The purpose of my channel is not to be a end-all be-all. It's not to say, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what you need to do. I am not coming from a place of authority. I don't mean to. And I understand with me holding this microphone, and then once my little podcast studio is built out, I look very professional, and I do have professional vehicles. I do run my business professional. I try to deliver the information as professionally as I can. So I do understand that I do put myself in a position of authority by doing what I'm doing. But I want you to understand that I am a business owner just figuring it out. And I have chosen to document it and share my experiences with you. The good, the bad, not so much the ugly, maybe the aftermath of the ugly, because I'll be darned if I'm going to pull out the camera while I'm crying. Okay, business has been tough. I'm an emotional person, okay? And I know that everybody's not emotional like me. I get that. But I am. And so I just want you to know that all the information that I'm telling you, I want to share that, hey, this is what I'm doing. And if it doesn't work out, or if it does work out, I want to be able to share that experience with you, even if it's going to get me comments that's like, oh, you're dumb. I knew that was going to happen. You should have never have done that. Whatever. For the most part, many, many, many of you guys are so kind to me in the comments. There are a couple that get a little out of pocket. But for the most part, everybody is like been super kind to me, which is really nice. I truly appreciate it. I don't get a lot of hate on the internet yet. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see as time goes on. So let's do a little backtrack. Last year, this is for the new people, the old people, the old school people know exactly what happened. And if you are old school and you've been a little busy and you haven't been able to keep up, last year was a really tough year for my business. And here's why. When I started the business, I started very simply, very humbly. A car, a magnet, business cards, running out of my garage. And as time goes on, I felt like the business is doing well. I need to reinvest back into the business. I wanted a more professional look. I didn't want to operate out of the garage. And I was putting this pressure on myself. Not once did any of the staff members that I had hired ever say, Erica, I don't think it's very professional that we're operating out of your garage. I don't take you seriously because you're operating out of your garage and at your home. Not one person even showed me that through their actions. It was all me. I was putting all this pressure on myself to get out of this house, separate myself from the house, and have an office space. And I had done that. I moved out, rented a little room at a real estate office. That really didn't work out. It wasn't the right vibe. I moved back home. And then at this time, I was just like overstimulated. Like it was just too much. I had these grand plans for the business. I decided to redo the branding, sunk a bunch of money into that. I wanted brand new cars to put my staff into. So the look was just super professional. The vehicles were clean. The vehicles were safe because I just wanted that aesthetic, right? So I invested into the branding. I invested into new vehicles. I invested into getting the vehicles wrapped, and that's very expensive. And I was like, I need an office. I have to get out of here. And at this time, I was really struggling with scheduling issues. I was struggling with having boundaries with myself. Like with the podcast being here, I would like get lazy because I didn't want to work when I was at home. I would just want to snuggle with the dog. I didn't have like discipline the way that I should have. In my husband's garage, it was just a disaster because at the time he was still drinking. He was drinking every day. And I think we talked about this on one of the podcasts when he sat down. But it was just one of those things where he comes home from work, cracks open a beer, does a little bit of smoking on the smoker, cracks open a beer, watches TV, cracks open a beer. So there was all these like beer bottles. And he wasn't cleaning up the garage. The garage is really starting to get messy. So then it was causing issues in our relationship because I'm getting frustrated with him. He's getting frustrated with me. And then I was wanting to have like a staff meeting at the garage, and I have to like clean up all these beer bottles and I have to like make space, and I hated it. It was really nice having my own space to go there. It was clean. It was my space. Everything was where it needed to be when I showed up there. No distractions. I mean, I would be able to spend 10, 12, 14 hours there just working, just nose down working. That sounds like a really good idea. But then the day after, I would be so tired and so exhausted because I was working so much and I wouldn't take breaks. I was giving myself headaches. So there needs to be a balance. I'd have to say that. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy the office. I really did enjoy the office. But I got it in an area where I really wanted to grow the business. There's this one specific area. And I was like, okay, I need to move out there. This is what my brain was thinking. You need to move out there, meet all the people, shake the hands, go to all the events, get into all the Facebook groups because you have the address, and just grow. You're going to grow in this area, okay? That's not what happened. Did I go to the events? I showed up to some of the events, but there was like a lot of drinking. I just didn't feel comfortable with some of the events that I went to because of that. Because I had retreated so much and became a little bit antisocial from the experience of like going out and then not drinking and not going out to those events. I struggled. So if you're somebody that struggles with going to events and you struggle with lots of people all over the place, because I get like super distracted, I get it. I understand. It's something that you do have to like desensitize yourself to. You have to keep going. You have to keep showing up. And what I did is I just so happened to find there was an anchor person there. When I say anchor person, somebody that was like comfortable, that made me feel comfortable. I recognized her, Faylene, from church. So when I seen her, I beelined for her. And I was kind of able to chat with her. I was able to collect my thoughts. And I kind of watched how she was having conversations with people, ending the conversations, and then moving on to the next conversation and like breaking into the circles where people were talking. Because that was something that I noticed is like in this specific areas, people were like super cliquey and they had like their little circle, and it was hard to kind of like break in. I was struggling with that because I didn't have the confidence to. Sometimes I do have the confidence. It just depends on where my cycle is, to be quite honest. I'll be super transparent with you. Sometimes I'm a very confident person. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to interrupt. I don't know how to say hi. It's like, what is wrong with you, Erica? Maybe I can get somebody on the podcast that like understands the psychology part of it, because I don't quite understand that part. But anyways, so I kind of like mimicked what she did, followed suit. And I've done this my entire life. Like, I have kind of, if I don't know how to do something, I watch somebody that I feel like is doing it well and I mimic what they're doing until it's natural for me. Or then until I find somebody else that's doing it better than them, rinse and repeat until I find my own groove. That's how I learn how to do stuff. I just find the person that's doing it and I do what they're doing. And that seems to have worked for me so far. Did these events work out well for me? I can't say that they did. I created some awareness. Did I put as much time as I wanted into it? No, not really. But then again, a lot of these events are late. I go to bed. I go to bed early. It would be cool if I could get like maybe a media person in, or not a media person, but I don't know, maybe somebody that does like the social events and send them out, somebody that stays up late. I go to bed at like 8:45. If I go to one of these events, I get home at 7, I'm all charged up. I'm not going to bed till midnight. So I can definitely see some improvements that can happen there. But there's just something about the business owner being there, shaking hands and chatting with people. And what I did notice at these events, there wasn't a lot of business owners. There were representatives of the businesses. And so I was like, that's interesting. So that's another thing that I kind of like noticed, like, all right, maybe I need to, not maybe, I do need to get a representative, a salesperson, or somebody that represents the company well, that can mingle and flow to go to these events for me so I don't have to be there. So that's something I want to think about. So let's cover that. That didn't really work out the way that I wanted to. Oh, and then the business didn't grow the way that I wanted it to, which I feel like I'm a scorned ex-lover. I swear to it. Like I was in a bad relationship and I keep talking about this person and I'm going to get over it. I'm not going to anymore because I'm assuming all responsibility for whatever happened last year. The 2 accidents, my fault, because I didn't make the necessary changes that needed to happen staffing wise, and I allowed 2 of my company cars to get totaled. That put me in a bad financial situation. I'm telling you, it really, I'm surprised I'm still in business right now. I had to quit paying myself for a period of time because it stressed out the finances. And instead of being like when the accident happened, instead of like the first one, I went out and I got another car and got it wrapped. I should not have done that because then again, I went and put myself in debt further. And then when the second accident happened, it took the gap insurance 5 to 6 months to even kick in. So I was paying on a vehicle with a high interest, even though I have very good credit. The salesman knew. He's like, she's easy, I got her. She's in a pinch, she's in a bind. Because I didn't want to spend the money that I wanted to put into marketing, or I wanted to put into pay myself. I think I wanted to pay. Yeah, I didn't want to take the money that I was wanting to pay myself because I had reinvested so much money back in with like the wraps, with the branding, getting the office space. What else was I doing? Building out the podcast studio. I did some traveling last year for events and stuff like that. So I was just like reinvesting. Yeah, I was spending a lot of money. I was spending a lot of money not being the smartest with the money. I was like, woo! And Psycho CPA was like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just spending it all. It was a tough winter. I did hire. Charles has been absolutely amazing. Charles really was sent to me, I feel, from the Lord. Because without Charles, I'm not really too sure what would have happened last year. Because in the midst of all of that, I blew out 2 of my discs in my back. So I was having a serious pity party. And this winter just has been very, very tough in general. Every single contractor that I've talked to, they've all struggled this winter. And my husband does trees, so he hasn't worked too much through the winter. So financially, it's just been really tough. So we're laying low. I mean, if you're watching this on the video, my nails they're horrendous. I haven't had a pedicure in quite some time. Could I go and get it? Yes, I do have the money to go do it. But I'm choosing not to right now because Josh and I sat down and we had some very serious conversations about debt, about living way below our means. So we're able to live more of a debt-free life personally. In business, it's cool to use debt as leverage. If you understand how to do it and you are, risk adverse, where you're not scared, okay? And I'm a little bit more wild. I'm a little bit more like, let's risk it all. My husband's a little bit more calm. He's more level-headed than me, very much so more level-headed. And he's willing to do that as long as certain things are taken care of. So we don't owe very much on our house. We want to get our house paid off. We have like a little bit of debt that's over our head with the roof, because we had to, not only did it like, was it crazy last year with the business, but it was like everything with our house was going on, like the windows, the roof, the siding. It was just, things were leaking into our house, and we just got our kitchen redone. So we were just stressed out, feel like we were in panic mode. We probably needed to like slow down to speed back up. Oh, and then my husband started that business, that branch buster business. I like look back on it and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. We were just wild. And even though it was really tough, we've both learned a lot. And looking back last year, I said, no, 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 we need to make some serious changes. And now I'm 19 minutes in. You're probably like, oh, what are the changes? Okay, I decided I'm not going to renew my lease at the office. Why? Because of what I explained to you prior. I didn't go to the events like I wanted to. I didn't grow out there like I wanted to. Even with my customers that I do have out there, posting in their community groups, recommending me, it's just an area that is really tough to grow in. It's really tough to crack, and I haven't been able to. And they're really not my ideal customer anyways. And I was thinking, I'm like, I have the podcast studio out here. It's nice. I do enjoy it, but is it really worth the overhead? Is it really worth the overhead that I'm spending? And it wasn't. And I had a year lease, so I talked to the landlord. I had a nice conversation with her, even though I'm really bummed that I'm leaving. And it was really, like I said, it was cool to have my own space. I just have to make the right decision. And for a minute there, I was like, am I going back? Am I going backwards? Kind of. Yeah. But not in a sense of I'm failing going backwards. It's in the sense of I'm going back to the basics, right? If I can record my podcast here in my bedroom where it's built out as a studio, that adds one less layer of friction. Like I don't have to drive 45 minutes in traffic to get to the office and 45 minutes back home, because traffic makes it so much longer. Like when there's no traffic, I can make there in 20, but when there is traffic, it's a whole different ballgame. I don't have to do that. I can just get ready, come over here, take care of what I need to take care of. You might ask, well, where's the office? Are you moving back to the garage? Well, I haven't really ever left the garage, because I realized anybody that I was going to hire, they're not going to drive all the way out to Northville. It happened like once or twice, but nobody ever comes to the office. My husband doesn't even come to the office, and he was renting a mailbox. So it was literally just me. And I wanted to have guests on the podcast because I wanted like people at the office, and I thought that was going to be really fun. And I did have a couple in-person guests, but what I realized is people rescheduled when they had to come in person. So I had a handful of people that rescheduled. It's much easier just to do it Zoom. So I was like, okay, well, this is literally pointless. I'm spending way too much money. Even though it was split up between the poop scooping business and the social media business, I could be putting that money into marketing. I could put that money into hiring a new editor. I could put that money anywhere. So much smarter. When I do still have the garage that I could operate out of. But having said that, what I did is over the past 6 years, I've developed relationships with people. And I have been very smart about that, because I have kept a good business name. I have networked with local people, just not for the sake of like business, just to be like a person networking with other female business owners and just other people just trying to learn, reaching out, saying hi, commenting on their social media. It's just building community little by little. So what I did is I shot my shot with a local business owner that has a dog business. I said, hey, have you ever thought about renting out like a fictitious space or a space for an address? Because I'm moving out of my office, but I don't want to move my business address back home. Can we have a conversation? And she's like, yeah. So for 400, I think 400, 450, 400 or 450, I can't remember. I'd have to look at our contract. But I get to have the address there, so it's not at my home. And for any of you that are watching this and you're feeling bad about running your business out of your home and you have that like itch, and this is the reason why I'm sharing this, because I had that itch so bad. And so if you're listening to this and you have the urge and you're like, I just want to get out, if you don't have to, save your money. If you do not have to and you're able to run your business out of your house, I suggest running it out of your house as long as you can. I mean, for me, it got to the point where I had so many vehicles. At one point, I had like 9 vehicles here at my house. I live in a suburb on a corner, and it was just becoming too much. But luckily, you guys know what happened last year. 2 of those vehicles got taken care of. Okay, so that dropped it down. Josh and I sold off some of the other vehicles because things changed. We got a little bit more simple, but it was just becoming like a lot to have all these company vehicles and other vehicles at the house. Like we look like vehicle hoarders. And it was difficult to like get things figured out with the insurance. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. Back to the space that I'm renting. I get to have the address. I have office access. So if I want to, when I have my staff meetings, we can have staff meetings there because I do staff meetings Fridays at 7:30 a.m. And for any of you that are listening and you're feeling like insecure about having staff meetings at your house, don't. I remember feeling so weird about it because I was like, it's just me and one other person. It's just me and 2 other people. Like we're in my garage. Get you some coffee, get you some donuts, set up a little card table. If you don't want to come into the house, clear out a little space and just have your staff meeting. And it's going to feel weird the first couple times. That is okay. It eventually just becomes like natural and second nature. And it's really nice to touch base with your staff. There was a time where I went and talked to Charles all week because Charles is that dude, man. Charles is that guy where he just took so much off my plate. I didn't even have to worry about anything. But I'm like, hey, does he need anything? Is there any way that I can support him? So I was like, we have to start meeting at 7:30. So we do the coffee, we do the donuts, we talk about things. I give him his praise. He lets me know if he needs help with anything, and we're able to have that face-to-face connection. And now I have my new guy. I'm so excited. I feel like, we're rebuilding. Because I really have been stuck. I've been stuck at the same place for a very long time. Like revenue-wise, I've been okay, but it's like I've just been stuck in the same exact place. And it's like, so it's stable. Don't get me wrong, like it's stable, but it's like, what is going on here? I've almost felt a little bit like embarrassed. Like even having these conversations with you, it's like embarrassing to even be like on social media and talking to you guys and be like, my business really hasn't grown. But I haven't done the things that I needed to do up until recently. Like I put a bunch of money into marketing and the business is growing for sure. So this year, I mean, I think we're going to do quite well this year. But then I get nervous to even say that because I'm like, well, I thought that last year. Then you guys know what happened. But I'm making better choices. I think I have better people in the business. And we can talk about that at a later date with hiring. And when you get an icky feeling in your stomach, and you track the data and you realize what's going on, making decisions quicker instead of allowing things to kind of ride out and play out to where you have to make like a really difficult decision once things are like a mess. We could talk about that at another time. But back to the office. I have a storage area where I can store some of my supplies, actually all my supplies, and then I have use of the dumpster, which is nice because now I can expand the commercial side of my business because I have dumpster access, which I didn't have dumpster access before. And then I have my virtual assistants, which my virtual assistants have really helped me through growing the business, growing the social media business, because I pulled out of the poop scooping business a lot so I could put more time and energy into the social media business because I wanted to grow up the following and I wanted to develop some skills. So I've really been pulled out of that a lot, and the VAs have been taking on a lot of that work. And I actually went to go send out a quote and send something out. I'm like, I don't even remember how to run this side of my business. And I didn't like that feeling. I was like, no, we can't do that. And so I wanted to cut some more costs. And so I need to cut more costs because I need to kind of restructure stuff. So I'm ending the work relationship with the VAs for a little while. I am leaving things open-ended for them to come back. I hope they're going to take me back. I really do. But I need to cut the costs. I need to get back into that side of it and tweak some stuff that needs to be tweaked, figure out what is working for my market, and then document that and scale up. And I just feel like with Spring Rush, I made a lot of money, but I paid out a ton of money. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that when I can fix the holes and the issues of what's going on, get a pulse back of my business, and then do what we need to do to scale up and move forward. So cutting the office, which is going to be, all right, I'll let you guys know. $1,900 a month I was paying. Let me know what you think in the comments. $1,900 a month. What do you think I could have done with that $1,900? Drop that down in the comments. And then the VA, I won't talk about that just because that's kind of like personal. And they charge everybody differently, I think. I'm not really too sure. But that was still a nice chunk of change. So essentially, if I were to take all that money, I would be able to pay over half of a salary for an operations manager, a good operations manager that knows what the heck they're doing way more than I do. Okay, so I got this new hire and I need to get a new vehicle. Are we going to get another car payment? No, we're not. So I took $4,000. My husband found a Colorado, a 2010. She got some rust. She's a little rough. And we paid cash for it. Paying cash. No more car payments. I'm not doing the car payments anymore. When employees are driving your vehicles and it's such high traffic, like they're driving all over the place, it's devastating when they get totaled. It's devastating when something happens. I had these vehicles fully wrapped. The insurance didn't take care of the wrap, so I was out that money, and I just decided it's not worth it to do the loans anymore. So think about that if you're newer in business or you're thinking about going to get a vehicle. Maybe for the owner, it's nice to have something new. Yeah. But if you can find something that works well, get that. Am I going to fully wrap this truck? I'm not too sure yet. I might put some simple branding on it. I might just put the logo, who we are, and what we do in pink. Because like I said, I'm trying to save money this year so I can reinvest it in places that's going to help the business scale up and grow. And I'm really, really excited about that. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to document that. I got a lot of stuff I need to do. My painters are here, so I need to go. But the next time that I'm recording in this room should be green. Yeah, it's going to be green. We're doing a whole new vibe. So I appreciate you guys. I really do hope this has brought you some value. The whole purpose of me doing this is so you kind of get a behind the scenes look of what I'm going through as a business owner, and I get to share that experience with you. Is it all right? Dude, I don't know. I just want to give you an honest viewpoint, and hopefully you don't feel like you're alone, because this business ownership thing is kind of tough. I feel like it's aged me a decade. All right, I appreciate you guys. If you want to support the channel, podcast, all of it, there's going to be links down in the description. If you don't have a CRM, check out Jobber. If you want to know more about reviews and getting more reviews, click the link for Review Harvest. If you want to grow your business from start to finish and you want tactical advice, which I need to get back into the Poop Scoop Millionaire School community. Like, I need to make it intentional and go through certain sections of it because I know all of the information's in there. I've just been scatterbrained all over the place. Click the link for Poop Scoop Millionaire down in the description. William has it all built out. You know what would be cool? I wonder if I just took the time, once I have Jordan out scooping, I went to exactly where I need to in the community, where I'm at in business, and documented like me reading the stuff, implementing the stuff, and how it worked out. I wonder if I should do something like that. I don't know, you guys let me know. I gotta go. The painters are knocking at the door. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.